Welcome back everybody to another Command and Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath cast. I am your host Ames Productions and I will be casting today this 1v1 on Tournament Decision, and our competitors for this match are going to be the Cyan GDI, which is going to be VOddy, and Technique, which is going to be the Nod, which is over here at the top position. I don't really cast, this is probably the first match I think I've casted on Tournament Decision, so I am looking forward to this, to be honest. Technique has actually gone for quite an interesting startup, I think. I've never really seen many players do this. I've seen that as a bit risky because that's a lot of money being used there, and although it's quick expansion because you're going to get the type room spikes, it's using up a lot of resources very quickly, and there's only the one scouting unit, so it probably would work though, because you know he's done it for many years, so I have faith. From VOddy over here, we see we have a bit of a harvesting operation going on here. Obviously, he hasn't got it. I was about to say he hasn't got War Factory, but now there it is appearing. He's going to be getting harvesters as usual, and other light tier units. Over in the middle, we got some infantry squads going through the town. We've got one garrison running over there. That was from Technique. Basically, both just scouting right now. I have a feeling that Technique may go for a flame tank attack, possibly, because it just feels that way. With this map, it's more friendly for flame tank attacks because it's not just a one path. It's got a direct path through the middle of the map. There's also some side entrances over here that are off the beaten track, so to speak. So you may see that. But either that, or we're going to be seeing some mass tanks or something from both players. We can see with some harvester harassment coming from VOddy. Technique is going to expand probably down to this tumbling field over here, instead of a base down at the bottom of the map. And VOddy is basically just expanding his harvesting operations. 2 power plants, so he's going well. He may try to get tier 2 right now. I think he's training more harvesters. Yeah, that comes to that harvester. 5 to 2 harvester ratio, harvester refinery ratio, really good. So he probably got the best resource setup at the moment, unless he expands, which he probably will soon, because he really does need to get the extra resources. I mean, Technique is going to somewhere. All right, he's just moving his MCB up there. Okay, I thought he was actually going to expand to the type room down here. Some tanks progressing just to chase the pitbull off, which is just obviously it's predictable. The pitbull's still scouting and stuff. Not much to say about that. War Factory has just got deployed. Magically, is very bad. I apologize. And some raiders are getting deployed. Obviously, there's one tank there, but I don't know if he'll be training any more tanks. Always just going to be attack bugs. He's just putting raiders down, raiders and attack bugs. So he's going to be trying to do some harvester harassment possibly. And VOddy has already gotten air, so he's going to try and possibly take out some harvesters. Like he has just done. 1 harvester dead. Now Technique is down to 4 harvesters. He may also try to get the power plant if he's lucky enough to get around the back. But I mean, he's going to put pressure on the front. So I don't know. It's a bit of a hard decision there. But you know, he could take out the power. It would slow Technique's unit production down just a little bit for VOddy to give himself like a few more seconds, which would make all difference. Pitbull's just been spammed over here to tackle all these tier 1 units over at the top of the slope. Even the Scorpion tank being sent in, and Technique is going to make a push towards VOddy's base. I wonder when VOddy is actually going to send in those Predator tanks. I mean, he is under a bit of pressure. I mean, he also has got the Orcus, so he may be okay, but I mean, he should try. I mean, he's got a bit of a window here, so like I would suggest doing some Preds and sending him up the slope, or possibly going around this small path over here. That means he would also gain some more vision and more protection that way. But now he's sending all of these pitbulls to the harvesters. A bit dangerous right now because of all those opportunities in the tapu in the field. I'm surprised that Technique hasn't really got any more infantry to defend against the pitbulls. But I mean, he is trying to be aggressive and stuff, so I don't think there's ever any time. Finally, VOddy has expanded down to near this Taburin field, and he's going to be getting more resources there. He might be a bit aggressive down here, I think, because if he if he plays his cards right and doesn't like it manages to keep Technique distracting on this front here, he could take this Tiberium field and possibly work his way around the corner and take that field there. Obviously, he will have to be mindful of these buildings that garrison with these infantry, so he's going to probably have to take them out first, which I just realised that is actually Oddy's infantry, so he's actually perfectly fine. He could just do that. People's now been destroyed. Oh, I think they have been destroyed. No, they haven't. Wow, he's actually keeping them alive as well. Good nice con from Oddy there. We're seeing finally some not Scorpion tanks, Predator tanks coming out from those war factories. Now, I don't know if he's got tier 2 yet. Tier 2 has appeared in that base, and he may be trying to get tier 3. It looks like it from how slow the blue bars, you know, going along there. How slow the building is being built. And now the peoples are being retracted down to that base. Few Scorpions at the top, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot of tanks, but a lot of attack bikes as well. Technique seems to be going for obviously being quick and trying to quickly find exploits for himself or something like that. Oh, not a great choice for the Orcas. Really not a great choice. Taking them down with ease with those attack bikes. Now Oddy is having to be retreating because of all his forces. Technique nicely pushing him back towards the Tiberium field. Now his harvesters are becoming endangered. Scorpion tanks nicely dealing a lot of damage to the harvesters, but they're quickly actually getting decimated by the Predator tanks. Very nice micro especially Technique, because he's still got his units there. Those units are still alive and as we see, Technique has got the tier 3 and so has Oddy. Oddy will probably go for mammoth tanks, but then again he probably won't because they take a long time to build. But even so, it's either mammoth tanks or juggernauts, one of the two, and maybe even some powers, support powers like the shockwave artillery you can use for one of the situations. I don't know if Technique will go for a Redeemer. Probably would do that. Probably would be a good idea, and try and go through the middle path and assault the base on the main entrance over here. Oddy's just mainly focusing on light tiered units, which is interesting. I mean, I know he's trying to be quick and everything, preventing Technique from like destroying important structures, but at least try and reinforce those forces with reinforce those forces. Just protect them a bit more with some tanks or something. If he's able to separate them to go to this side path over here, because that would be more advantageous. We've got a Blackhand squad and a Militant squad coming down there from that slope over there. He's going to be trying to possibly get those structures over there, because they present a danger, and obviously Oddy's got some eyes in this corner, so he knows now they're going to be coming, and he hasn't really got anything to defend them against. Is he going to send all those harvesters towards those squads and kill them that way? That's going to be a very interesting move. I mean, I've seen a few players do that, but I mean, it's really not many, seeing as harvesters are valuable. Or is it because of tip fields? Yeah, the tip fields gone. Okay, so that's fine. Scouting squad coming from Technique over there, and Technique is also training a lot of avatars, which is predictable seeing as an old player. I don't know about any upgrades. What upgrades would be better? I mean, stealth upgrade would be quite good, I think, the first time, and then the laser upgrade. But I'm not sure. I mean, the avatars themselves are just good, but you want to try and get some anti-air as well. But seeing as they're going against these light tier units, it's not much of a problem, and he probably will take that area quite quickly. So there we go. Juggernaut's coming out from Oddy over there. He's going to have to send them over to where his MCD is, because it's going to become like really heated over there. Technique, what else is he doing? Well, the Tedmites have just come back from the scouting party. One of the avatars is going to the middle of the map, or at least to the front base thingy, the entrance, so he's going to have eyes over there. And what else is he doing? He's just continuing to train the Tedmites, so he's going to be doing more harassment. He's got the typical missiles upgrade, so he's got that extra damage output, which will really help him in trying to remove Oddy from this area over here, and obviously just spamming that infantry, making sure that he's got the upper hand in this battle. The avatars quickly losing a chunk of its health. Attack bites coming in, they're just going to go straight past, that's it, we'll go straight past the barracks, but apparently not. Predator tanks and Juggernauts coming in at the back there, reinforcing those units. Unfortunately, Cactus missile coming down, destroying that refinery over there. Avatar will make fun, distracting all these pitfalls and taking out those tier 1 units. More attack boats coming from those war factories. They're going to be going down towards Oddy's MCV, and those units are struggling to keep a hold of this area. And wow, Technique has actually managed to capture. No, that's actually VOddy that's managed to capture the Avatar. But at least they're now captured. But yeah, those Avatars just fired to the base, and I actually would have thought they would have gotten through there. But luckily, VOddy has managed to repel those forces, and he should be able to capture those 2 Avatar husks as soon as possible, because they will actually be very beneficial for him for the battle ahead. I mean, this is going to be coming to a climax. Oh my god, wow, so we've got some forces over this place, of the main entrance of VOddy's base, and can't really do anything about that. He could chase the Avatar down with those threads, I think, because yes, he has got a promotion, but it won't be too long before that unit's destroyed. That Juggernaut needs to be repaired. It's too much of a risk to leave it damaged like that, especially with that Avatar, because they don't want the enemy to capture it. Since hosts are very valuable. A lot of attack bikes, they're going to be good towards this area. Some satellite surveillance being used by VOddy over there. I mean, so at least he now knows we've got a lot of attack bikes coming to him. Or not, but I mean, they're just there. They're ready to pounce on VOddy as soon as Technique gives the order. And they're just going to be exploiting various weaknesses. And obviously we've got Avatar going back to the Warfighters over there. I don't know, has VOddy made an expansion at all? What is this MCV? I didn't actually see the move. I see VOddy amassing a force there. A lot of attack bikes going from here, and there's going to be assaulting the base from behind. So those harvesters are now in danger, and those 2 missile squads won't be able to do anything against those attack bikes, really. But luckily, he's just managed to get the rest of his forces back around the corner again, and now the attack bikes are going to have forced retreat. Although he did snag a couple of harvester kills, so good for Technique over there. And he's going to be sliding down towards the bottom, seeing if there are any other vulnerable areas or units or structures, whatever, that he can pick off. The power's been used there. That is the not the bit. That's just a bloody Tiberium bomb thingy. I don't know where his MCV is. It has been destroyed, to be honest. But you know, I don't think it matters too much. He's handling himself well and handling the situation well, so I think he's going to be all right. But VOddy is really getting the advantage here. Nice to have an invade detonation going off there. Juggernaut and Harvester goes down, which is an Avatar, not a Harvester. This Juggernaut, almost the last legs, almost destroyed, but at least that refinery is still standing, so at least the Harvesters have somewhere to dock. That Harvester is on a tremendously low bed of health. My god, that is quite lucky that survived. People also damaged. Not really getting any time to try and heal these units. I mean, they would last longer, but I mean, I don't think he's got any time, because Kane is always on the move and always just being aggressive on his defenses and stuff. Scouting units over in Technique's base, and Technique, I think, is going to deal with that quite quickly. Although it's just a Rifleman squad, so it doesn't really pose too much danger apart from vision. A lot of Rifleman squads up from the front door there. More units coming in from the side there. They're going to be supporting these units. These walkers, but he's going to have to be quick if he wants to keep these husks, which I don't think he will be able to do, seeing as Technique will want to destroy them, but those units are there now, so he may be able to recruit them. Oh, it's our flame tank, those Black Hand squads are unusually close, and did he lose? Oh, he just gets the Avatar Warmech husk just before it dies, so that's really lucky. That Juggernaut is very close to dying still. Technique just destroys one of his Avatar husks, so now he prevents VOddy from getting it. Still, more attack bikes being created there, and most of the base over here of VOddy has been sold off, including his tier 3 and war factories, apart from this one over here. So he's putting all of his efforts into micromanagement here, which is, you know, expected, because Technique isn't really is doing alright, but he isn't really doing that well because his tapping fields ran out, and he hasn't expanded over here. It's a bit too risky now. Juggernaut over there with some missile squads, and he's also captured the tip spike, so he's also going to be probably killing the harvesters. That's a shame. Unnecessary deaths, but oh well. And now VOddy's going to be making a push towards Technique's base. I don't know. That's probably just try and destroy something to slow Technique down. But Technique's making a good effort to try and repel those forces. Those attack bikes coming in. Nice taking care of that Predator tank and taking care of the Harvester. Fucking Avatar. Why did I call them Harvesters? They're completely different things. Predator also goes down as well, even with that one motion. Also, one of those attack bike was heroic, that one there, so that's quite nice. One Grenadier soldier, damn, and that tank actually did get destroyed from that one Grenadier, that grenade there, so that's well done for VOddy there. Reclaiming more husks, VOddy is probably going to make another push towards technique. He might risk going for a two-pronged assault to try and do a pincer of sorts, because technique is really low on resources, so his production is going to be slowed tremendously. Even with all the units he's going to be producing, it's not nearly going to be as much as if he had like loads of taboo on this field there. And VOddy has got pretty much the advantage. I mean, he's nicely repelling those Scorps away from his base, and he's got some units on the front line over here, at least on this front entrance, so he may try and do a pincer attack, but again that may be a bit too risky for him, because then what if it fails, and he probably Technique might have enough defenses by then to tackle him. I mean, those tank bikes with typical missiles, they do a lot of damage. As you see, you've taken out an avatar over there. Harvester, unfortunately, being micromanaged, and wow, almost survived, but not quite, and unfortunately forced to VOddy. The tank bike's making their way down to VOddy's base, but pretty much just keep trading units at this point, and those refineries are still standing, which is quite good. Obviously, Technique's going after those harvesters, support units coming in, tanks coming down this area over here, missile squad also coming in as well, and he's just desperately trying to get those harvesters protected. Technique moving in to take out that base over there, took out the barracks, and he might actually gain the upper hand in this bit, because the Scorpion tanks, they are nicely dealing with the brunt of the force, which would be those Preds, and the attack bikes nicely providing supporting fire, so he probably will be able to, well, he did a lot of damage there, but, I mean, he's trying hard. It's a bit difficult, especially when you're trying to assault one area. It probably should go down, like, go around through the main path and go down over here, but he'll be too focused on defending himself from this area, so he probably won't be able to do that. I'm pretty sure he's going to be assembling more attack bikes right now, or at least more Scorpion tanks. Scorpion tanks and attack bikes, and pushing them towards this base. If he can take out VOddy's MCV, then VOddy's pretty much out of this game, because comparatively, if VOddy loses his MCV, then Technique will overpower him pretty much, because VOddy only has one war factory. And there we go, he's just saw those two structures with those attack bikes coming in and taking out some of those structures. Now going after the power plants. I think this could be the fall of VOddy. No, not quite. He's gone barracks up, and he's now training some missile squads. So unfortunately, he's going to have to sacrifice that tier 2, and those attack bikes are going to have to go away, and they're going to live for another few minutes. A mass of Scorpion tanks being trained on those war factories, and they're going to be targeted. They're going to be targeting these units over here. That's going to be no problem for the Scorpion tanks, especially if they had dozer upgrade. But it doesn't really matter, because they can still run those units ever with or without the dozer upgrade. If it's all possible, he's probably going to take out that refinery and possibly this one. Take out his economy, because he hasn't got any economy apart from those two refineries. And now VOddy is just focusing on this one area as much as possible. He's hunkering down as much as he can. And he's just built another war factory, so he's just basically rebuilding. He's migrated towards this area, but unfortunately, Technique really hasn't got any entrance, so we can't quite get inside and molest him very well. So he's going to have to amass a bigger force to hopefully deal with those defenses, especially with the infantry there. I mean, VOddy's now was pushing him towards his base. A bit too risky at the moment, so we've got to send a pit bull to have a look. He may. Oh, okay. So he's moving his MCV. He's going to move his MCV a bit closer to these structures, possibly getting this Taburan field. I think he may attack coming from over there. Oh, finally. So Technique has finally built his MCV again. He's going to be going to the middle, I think. Is he going to be going to this Taburan field? He probably is. I mean, it's quite nice and out way. So VOddy won't be. He won't jump to that conclusion that he'll be like Technique will be expanding there. VOddy won't know that immediately. He might not even think to go look there, but he may find it. I don't know, but it's a good choice that Technique is going to that Taburan field. So, and with that, I think the battle's coming to a climax now. We're going to see VOddy is massing a lot of forces over here, with a lot of missile squads and predator tanks, obviously anti-vehicular, because that is the only thing technically trained at this moment until he deploys his MCV, which he has done now, and he's going to be getting some resources, probably building some refineries first. Yeah, that's probably a refinery building. I don't know what's building this support structure tab there though. Let's go have a look. Okay, so that's shredder turret, so he might be scouting with that shredder turret. Technique. No, for VOddy, however, he's not doing anything. He's putting on a third refinery, so he is going to be taking over that flaming Tiberium field over there. He's going to be taking that and getting more resources, and that could be enough to tip the battle in his favour and have the majority of the forces on the map. Nicely, VOddy's pushing Technique back, seeing that Technique only got Scorpion tanks. He's going to have to rush some attack bikes out or something. Oh, he's only got one war factory. This is bad for Technique right now. People's going around the back. They're probably going to be destroyed by those attack bikes. There we go. There's nothing really that VOddy can do. Can't control them back because those attack bikes will be quite too quickly. So he's just going to focus on building those Scorpion tanks. Refinery has now been placed down out to this not refinery, the Tiberium field. Now he's got a bit of economy going. He's now going to start building up the forces again. He's going to be accelerating the units out to those war factories and hopefully directly countering this massive force over here. So hopefully he should have pretty much an equal force if he gets Hand of Nod, get some shadow squads or something. Even so, with those shadow squads, he could possibly sneak them in and possibly take some refineries out or something. It's a possibility, or take out those power plants. He's forced to sell one of them so that he could get a squad and get some money back. But at least he has got another one to go to this Tiberium field. And Technique has made a nice comeback from that very tricky position. That micromanagement is really the only thing that saved him there, and he's done really well so far. The units forming a battle line over there, trying to at least have a look at what VOddy is doing. VOddy's just pretty much doing the same with those units, and there's not really much Technique can do. He's just going to have to try and penetrate it from somewhere else. Those attack bikes unfortunately got destroyed from these units over here, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit slow as Technique tries to defend himself and build his empire back up. Now VOddy has found his base over there, so that's quite unfortunate. So he knows that there is a bigger threat. Technique has got a big force now. So he's got a Hand of Nod out. He's getting some military rocket squads. He should try. Yeah, there goes a power plant. So he's gotten rid of the infantry at least. He might try and get some shuttle squads. He could. That may be a good idea. Bit of skirmish going off at this area over here. Just a bit of what would you call it? It's just like it's basically the unit saying, "Alright, come here." Trying to get at the tank or something. Trying to put their units one tank down or something. You know, just a little bit of a trade, but not so that they're exposing themselves. Now with this pretty much a huge migration over to this area, VOddy's now noticed and he's viciously attacking this position. The rocket squads aren't really doing much. He can't put them out fast enough, and those harvesters are pretty much dead. A lot of people's being sent from VOddy. VOddy's obviously that Tiberium field has really done him some good, and he's going to be very successful at getting all these units out. And air tower going up, so that's quite interesting. He might get some venoms to tackle that force, maybe? I don't think that is likely because of all the missile squads, but then again, if he gets tier 3 lasers, that's too far. We'll see. I'm not going to make any assumptions there because I purely don't know what's going on. He is training better, but I don't know what he's going to use him for. So we will see. Scorpion tanks, please head down to the main force over here, building some power plants. Flame tanks being built. There we go. Flame tanks are finally coming into this match now. I wonder where he's going to send them. That is to be too dangerous. He's going to leave that unit on the front line there. Reinforcement power being used there. Barracks as well. He's going to be reinforcing this front line over here. I don't know what that flame tank's doing there. All those scorpion tanks are going to be just sent over to this middle bit over here, and he's probably going to flank or something. I don't know. And he's also got tier 3, so this is going to come to a more bloodier side again. with more unit exchanges and stuff. Technique nicely defending this area now with those multiple rocket squads, killing those pit bulls, and almost defending it well. I mean, pit bulls did get past because of the sheer number of units that were there. Oh, here we go. Technique's making a push through this front line. He's running over a lot of the units. A few harvesters going to go down as well. And VOddy's gone. Wow. Okay, so I think that was the breaking point of VOddy then. Once those harvesters were gone, there was nothing VOddy could do, which is fair enough. Wow, that was really intense. That was a very good play by VOddy and Technique. I really enjoyed casting this match, and I think, to my knowledge, that was the first match of tournament decision. So I do hope you enjoyed this cast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next in the next video. Bye bye.